Good morning, level 6 of El Centro. I am your teacher, George, and this is our first online lesson while we are all braving this rough time with the coronavirus. I hope that you are all staying safe, being smart, and staying healthy. So I'm going to give you the lesson for today. Now, here is your assignment for today, Wednesday. Scribble on a snapshot. Now I'm going to show you exactly what that means. And for Thursday, that's March 19th, I've got a video for you to watch, some vocabulary to study, and a Venn diagram to complete. Sounds simple, but it's more complicated than it sounds. So let's get right into it. If you saw the video I posted on the WhatsApp group, you will recognize this science experiment that I did with my son. So if you didn't get to see the video, I'll play it for you again. He and I are home. We mixed some baking soda and some food coloring, and we're having a lot of fun, and put a rubber glove over it. And we got the baking soda to mix with the vinegar, and then it began to explode. And once it exploded, spilled all over my hand, and we had a lot of fun. So what I did was I put a snapshot of that moment. Now, what I'm going to do right now is scribble on that snapshot. What do I mean by scribble? You all have the capability with your phones. Many of you have taken a picture before and started scribbling. What I'd like you to do is take a picture of your life at home. You might be alone. What's that like? You might be with 3 or 4 kids. You might be taking care of somebody elderly. What's a moment in your life while we're all staying indoors? Take a picture of it and then start narrating that with a little art. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to write chemistry homeschool. Chemistry homeschooling. Oh, I made it a little bit too long. And I think I'll make a few more captions. I'm going to make, since the glove that is about to explode is red, I'm going to make it look like it's about to explode. I'm going to make some illustrations there. And then once I'm finished, I'm going to take a snapshot of that right here. So I've taken that snapshot, and I'm going to show you exactly how to take that snapshot and then open up the WhatsApp group. I'm going to erase the annotations I made on my screen. Bye-bye. I take that snapshot, and then I just drop it right onto the WhatsApp group. Now, because I'm recording this before Wednesday, I'm just going to send it to myself. So what I'm showing you is this. Boom. So there it is. That's a snapshot of my life at home, where I'm learning how to homeschool my son because he can't go to schools. Public schools are closed right now in Massachusetts. So that's it. Take a snapshot of your life during this crazy time while we're all indoors, and narrate it with a little bit of art. So how do you do that? I'll show you which apps you can download. Going back to the slide, on the left-hand side, we've got Android apps you can draw on a picture. This is Scribble It. That's the most popular one for Android. If you have an iPhone, it's already a built-in feature. You just take a photo and start editing. You can take a photo of anything. Maybe you exercise at home. Maybe you're cooking. Maybe whatever it is that is a snapshot of your life at home, take a picture of it and then start drawing around the picture, and just narrate it with just a few words. So that's simple. That's your assignment for Wednesday. But it gets more complicated for tomorrow, Thursday. So a little review from last week. Last week, we compared and we contrasted the history of the car. The car, when it was introduced a century ago, was not an environmental problem so much as it was an environmental solution. And we'll go back to that video. And this is a Mercedes commercial highlighting the article that we read. The example of New York City, had omnibuses and people, which were massive horse-drawn carriages, and the horses released a lot of manure. So this was obviously an environmental problem. So we compared and we contrasted the creation of the car. The car was then seen as an environmental solution. A century later, generations later, the car is no longer an environmental solution. The car is an environmental problem. We're going to not look at the car as an example so much, but rather we're going to look at a different example, online dating. Here's a video I put in the Google Classroom, and this is titled "Why Dating is Hard for Millennials." Now, on the left-hand side of the video, I said, remember to hit CC for English subtitles. If I click on the video right now as it is, I hear a person speaking English, but if they're talking too fast and I don't understand it, I'd really like to read the words. So how do I do that? You want to hit CC. If you see where that is on the video itself, you go down to the bottom and you start to draw, and you'll see right down at the bottom, there it is, CC, subtitles, closed captions. I'm going to pause it. There it is. If you go all the way down, get rid of the ads there, go all the way down to your right, I'm going to make the arrow, hit that closed caption right there. Closed caption, it will auto-generate the English subtitles for you. So that way you can study the vocabulary. So here I go. I'm going all the way down to the CC button. I hit it, boom. Subtitles, closed captions, and then when I press play, let me do it again. Then when I press play, that's it. See how the subtitles are automatically coming up at the bottom. So that's what you want to do when you watch the video. Now here's a list of vocabulary that I'm also going to send in the WhatsApp group. Now the vocabulary has words, some of them you know, some of them you don't know. Words like interaction. Interaction. What type of interaction does a young person have today? What type of interaction do we have with each other when we are when we are practicing social distancing? When you walk down the street, you have to stay 6 feet away from a person. Stranger, swiping, and that's a word relating to technology that you're going to see in the video. Insulated. So these are some of the words that you want to be able to use. Now, this is your assignment for Thursday. You're going to make a Venn diagram. We did this before, but this is what your Venn diagram is going to look like for this assignment. So I'm going to minimize the slide here. You're going to compare and contrast online. Whoops, I'm going to make a thinner line here. You're going to compare and contrast online dating to meeting face to face. Face to face. Now, the video is going to show some positives and negatives of both. So I'm going to make a snapshot right now of this Venn diagram. Here we go. So I take my snapshot of the Venn diagram, and I'm going to Also send it in the WhatsApp group. And when you receive it, you're going to use your Scribble. App to start filling out the Venn diagram. So how that's going to work, like this. When you watch the video, you're going to notice positives and negatives of both. For instance, you have a few social scientists interviewed. I'm going to open up this video here, erase what I wrote on the screen. You have social scientists interviewed. They talk about prior generations, and they show examples of people meeting at a store, and they begin flirting with each other face to face. And they talk about positives and negatives. Prior generations had experience meeting people face to face, and the contrast is young people today, and they show two people sitting side by side looking at their phones, have a harder time talking face to face. There it is. So the contrast is today it's normal to sit next to a person and stare. There it is. So it's normal for two people not to interact with one another, and your interaction is very much through the screen. This could be seen as a negative. However, they interview a few people, and they show this woman, quoting the Pew Research Center, with the advent of online dating, more young people are starting to have broader social networks. That's what this diagram is. And younger people today are more likely to marry outside of their immediate network. People are more likely to date outside of their racial group, social class, or their cultural group. So there is actually a broader network that people are meeting and finding partners with today. That might be seen as a positive, depends on how you argue. So how you might do this in the Venn diagram. Okay, if I open up the Venn diagram as I put it, online dating versus meeting face-to-face. What goes on one side, what goes in the middle? Online dating, there might be, let's see, there might be, one is on a screen. Let's see, whoops, that was backwards. Online dating, one is on a screen. Meeting face-to-face, one is in real life. Some of these are obvious, but if you want to use the vocabulary, both have interaction. So you want to try to take your Venn diagram, use your Scribble app on your phone to fill up as many as you can on this Venn diagram, and that will be your. And you want to try to use some of as much as of the vocabulary as you can. And also, when you post this, please put your name on it. So I'm going to put my name here, George. And I'm going to give another example. Online dating. One of the major changes is broader social group. Broader social group. Real life, people tend to date within their community, small communities. Okay, so that's it. We're still practicing comparing and contrasting and finding where they overlap. So that is your assignment for Thursday. So that'll give you more than enough to work on in these next 48 hours, okay? Even if you cannot do all the work, I know everyone is busy, send me a message. Nonetheless, let me know that you are doing okay, Okay, that is it. So have a great time, and let me know if you have any questions. All right, take care. Be safe.